Hello, everyone. This is Nina with Rent Mason Bees. Today we are with Abigail. Abigail is a PhD student at UCDavis. This year we are collaborating together and we are going to be visiting a couple volunteers along the West Coast. And Abigail, would you like to tell us a little bit more about the research?
Yeah, so we're really lucky to have our volunteer sites where I'm going to be going out and sampling some of your mason bees. So I'm really curious how your bees will perform in different cities. So I'm mostly going to be looking at their reproduction. So I'm really curious if there's different number of eggs that they lay depending upon what city they're in, or if there's more males than females. So these are the types of things that we're going to be looking at during our research partnership.
Yes. And today, since we are at their bee biology lab, Abigail has offered to show us some of the research that other researchers at UC Davis have been doing, like other specimens that have been collected, other tubes and other reeds that have cocoons in them. So let's go take a look inside of their bee biology lab.
Yeah, go on.
Abigail has pulled out some specimens for us to look at. So Abigail, what are we going to be looking at today?
Yeah, so these are in the same family as honeybees and bumblebees. We've got some of our carpenter bees here. They're really nice and big. Those females are black and shiny, makes them very distinctive. And then here, this brown colored one is actually a male. So some species, the males will be a nice blonde color. And over here, we've got some longhorned bees. Those are the bees that love your sunflowers in your yard. They're very common to see throughout all of the US.
And these ones look like they have a lot of pollen on their legs on that scopa.
Yeah, those females did a great job collecting pollen. They've got very hairy legs, and the pollen sticks right to it.
So now what are these really nice pretty ones?
These bees are one of my all-time favorites. These are metallic green sweat bees. So the females are solid green, and then the males are very distinctive. They have a green head and thorax with a yellow and black striped abdomen, so they're really easy to tell apart. That is called sexual dimorphism, when the males and females look really distinctively different.
And are these bees found all over the nation, or are they only one location?
Yeah, these sweat bees are found all over the US, so they're a great pollinator to look out for in your yard.
Very cool. Thank you, Abigail.
So this is Sarah, one of our undergraduate researchers in the bee lab, and Sarah is working on a project with mason bees. She's working on one of our Fulbright Fellows projects to see the reproductive output of bees in different urban areas, to see how well bees do in different layers of urbanization, levels of urbanization. So she's opening up one of the nesting tubes, and in a minute we will see some cocoons inside. These were from last year.
And so when you get the tubes out of the field, you grab the tubes and you put them in the freezer to stop their growth?
Exactly. So when we collect the tubes at the end of the summer, we'll bring them back, freeze them so that they're left in that stage of development, because that is the stage we're interested in, which is right after they've pupated.
And then what are you hoping to find? What is the research that you're trying to gather for this study?
Yeah, so this study is to see how bees respond to urbanization and if this bee species does well in urban areas. So we're looking to see if they make a lot of babies when they're in urban areas, because that would be a good indicator that the species is doing well. And we can look at the size of the babies, because generally a bigger bee is a happier bee.
And when they're bigger and stronger, it means that they're able to lay more babies and have healthier babies?
Yeah, generally that's what we would expect to see, is that bigger bees can handle stressors better and can make more babies themselves.
And when they're bigger and stronger, that's because they're eating healthier? Is it where they're living? Like what causes them to be a healthier, stronger bee?
Yeah, it's a combination of different factors. So we might see healthier bees because they have really good food available to them. They have lots of nesting areas available to them. Maybe it's an area of lower pollution. These are all things that we would expect to see in good bee habitat.
Now, what are you going to do with this now that you've got this open? What are you going to do with it right now?
So Sarah is going to take these cocoons out. She's going to clean off the frass, which is the bee poop that we see, the silk, and then she's going to weigh them, figure out their length and width to see how big the cocoons are.
And so far in your research, what have you unveiled? What have you found so far?
I mean, we haven't really begun data analysis yet, but in previous work in Poland on osmia along the urban gradient with species native there, we found that the bees are doing better in urban environments versus suburban environments and agricultural areas. And so far, when we were collecting the tubes, we found that the tubes that were collected from the urban medium gradient had the most brood chambers, so the most bees, which hopefully will have developed.
So a nice median level of urbanization looks like it might be good for our bees. We'll find out more when we analyze the data.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail, for showing us around the bee biology lab at UCDavis. Abigail and I will be working on this research for the next couple of months, so if any of our viewers want to follow us along for that journey, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. As some of our viewers may know, we do work with a lot of universities across the country, and those research groups are helping to understand a little bit more on our solitary pollinators, and just so we can help educate everyone about what our solitary pollinators do and how important they are. We do want to keep their population very healthy and very happy. So thank you for joining us today at, again, UCDavis for their bee biology lab, and happy pollinating, everyone.